Mazezoke speaking to us today, being the 11th of May 2021. Today also is Tuesday. Tomorrow, Nigerians will be on holiday. I think it's Idil, whatever, Idil Fitri, Idil Kabil, Idil, I don't know. So I understand that everyone will be, everyone will be relaxed as myself because tomorrow there is no going to work. And the next tomorrow there is no going to work. So that is 2 days holiday. So as it is usual and as it is customary to this platform, if you could let me know where you are watching me from, and let's know those of us that have been joining me in these conversations that we do have. And interestingly, this evening we are going to be looking at something very interesting here. That is that the Southern Governors Forum appears to be, at last, be awake. It appears that they have at last woken up. It appears that at last some of the things we've been shouting, we've been saying for so long is beginning to probably catch their fancy. It appears that at last they are beginning to listen. And we believe, and I believe, that let this right foot that they put forward now be the best foot that they will do, and they would continue, and that they would not relent. So before I start and dive into the meat of the matter today is a loaded evening. So I want many likes. Can you just hit the thumbs up button, like the video, share the video, let others join us in this conversation. This evening, I can see Great God is watching me from the United States of America, and I see Ifeanyi Joshua watching me from London, Patrick Ihedimbo from United Kingdom, Luton to be precise, where you have the Luton Airport. Oh, Akachi is watching me from, when we are small, when we say Mozambique, we normally call them Mozambique. We normally say Mozambique. So someone is watching me, Ifi Anyi is watching me from Mozambique. That is Mozambique. So let's dive into the matter now. The Southern Governors met for the first time. No, this is the second time in 1 month. They met in Asaba. They, over the time we've been saying it, I've been saying it, we have the Northern Governors Forum speaking up when things they consider appears to threaten the North or anything to do with the North, including the Middle Belt, because the Middle Belt, sometimes I pity them because they're neither here nor there. They are just at the middle. So maybe that's why it's called the Middle Belt. And when you put in your belt, where is your belt? The belt is in the middle. But the belt does a very fantastic job. It holds something together. It holds your dross. Americans call trouser pants. So I say he holds something together. Now, this evening I'm going to dedicate this our conversation to be centered on the meeting the Southern Governors had. We will review the communique that they issued. And in that communique, during the time we will begin to review that, you will understand that it is indeed the things we have been demanding for. These are not skyrocket science. These are things we've been demanding for over the years, that they should speak on our behalf. Because as I keep explaining to us, in social contract, we have ceded our rights for them to speak on our behalf. by the virtue of giving them our votes, whether selected or elected, whether by the cut of the poor masses, the cut of you and I, or whether by airplane drivers, or whether by any means, they come in different shades and forms. And for non-Nigerians watching me, in Nigeria, adults are being asked questions what they can do on technical issues, and the examples that they can find is to tell us that when you are driving an aeroplane, so when I say aeroplane drivers, so that you understand what I mean, we drive aeroplane in Nigeria, we do not fly them. Probably that explains why the aeroplane cannot take off. Oh, I'm being cheeky this evening. I'm being cheeky. So, I have two people watching from Mozambique, Manchester, England. That's Brother Peters. Akachi, from Mozambique. Okay, get back to the point. So when the governors met, the last time they, kind of set the ball rolling, saying we're going to meet again. Now, our region is being overrun. The youth has been saying something. It appears we weren't listening. Now it's getting out of hand. In the South, the South youth are saying, we're giving you certain time. If you're not going to do anything, then we will start actions. In the Southeast, we've seen it. Sadly, my region, security has degenerated to the point that law enforcement officers are being killed on the streets. Security has degenerated to the point that sadly, in Ozobolo, Ekwusigo local government of Anambra State, vigilante were killed, about 5 of them. That is indeed tragedy. Question is, how did we get down to this barbaric level? And everyone is crying, everyone is clamoring, saying things must change. And the governors met today. Let us dive in what they did and what they said. Let me bring the governors in. So I'm going to use this clip by Channels TV, done by, an interview done by Seun Okimbaloya. He's, what's it called? His program this evening, Politics Today. So let's quickly crack on.
Some of these issues. So 17 governors today met from the southern states under the aegis of Southern Nigeria Governors Forum. They met in Asaba, the Delta State capital. Top on their agenda is the state of the nation, especially the rising insecurity across the country. Take a listen to the chairman of the Southern Governors Forum and part of their resolutions, Governor Akeredolu.
Criminals and bandits in the southern part of the country has presented a severe security challenge such that citizens are not able to live their normal lives, including pursuing various productive activities, leading to a threat to food supply and general security.
Did you hear that? The activities happening in the southern Nigeria has gotten to a level that it has become so visible to the blind and so audible to the deaf. Our cries, these are things we've been saying over the years. There is something abnormal happening within our region. We needed to shout for them to listen. And over the time, it appears that they weren't listening, but glad that they are now listening. And for the first time, history must be kind here. This evening, I was telling somebody, I say, thanks to Buhari. And they said, why am I saying thanks to Buhari? I said, well, it's good because if not for him. If not that he had become deaf and dumb, that he wasn't listening, and someone said he had ear infection that has not been cured. So if not that the president has not been, had not been listening, the southern governors wouldn't have been in a position that they would be able to come together. You remember, we never had anything like the Southern Caucus within the Senate, because we all think we are all smart. We can do things without one another. But at the end of the day, we could forgive them if after today's meeting in Asaba, they began to turn a new leaf. That is the whole point. The whole essence of agitation, the whole essence of criticizing, the whole essence of critiquing, the whole essence of pointing out where they're getting it wrong, is that they should begin to also get it right. And when it appears that they are getting it right, it behoves on you and I to give them the necessary support and ensure that they do not backtrack. And that support that they need is what we are going to do. Part of you sitting down today, listening to me, and me sitting down here doing this broadcast is that support that we must give them, because we must give them the support to work for us. In Igbo, we say, "Ebujuru na akwi, when the bee goes to the honey next, it stings." So in that case, when I listen to this press statement, honestly, it gladdened my heart, because the meeting in Asaba is very remarkable. I could never in my adult life remember where Southern governors ever met. But luckily now, because of something, one thing is pursuing everybody. And we, as I have said before, sometimes when I say things, and I read comments, people just disagree and insult, I laugh. In 2018, I said that the solution to this madness, and I'm repeating it, that's why I'm so excited that this is happening. The solution to this madness, it's a Southern front. Southern front. The Southern Nigeria as a collective is the solution to this madness. The day they will begin to speak with one voice, act in one accord, you will see that the madness will stop. It's only when they don't speak with one voice would someone come from Mali, come to Nigeria, go through Kwara, go through Ilorin, Ibadan, Edo, get into Delta states, into Anambra, get into rivers. But if you're speaking with one voice and you understand what you're doing, that threat should not go beyond Kwara. It must be checkmated at that point. That threat should not go beyond Oyo. It must be checkmated at that point. For me, the moment some threat is coming and is gone past Benue and is get down to Uborafo, get down into Enugu, and because it finds its way that Wike starts shouting in Obibo, in the borders between Abia State and River State. And I say to myself, that is serious security breach here, because how come no one flagged it up when when that security issue was in Enugu State? How come no one flagged it off when they got to Okigwe? How come no one flagged it off when they entered Umahia? No one flagged it off when it got into Umahia, Aba, and eventually someone flagged it off at the boundary entering Port Harcourt. That means it's a serious and a series of security breach. So if we begin to come together now that they have said this and they have beginning to think as we've been demanding that they do, then we must applaud them. We must applaud them as well. So let me just go ahead and let's listen to what the chairman of the Southern Governors Forum Atisai.
Consequently, the meeting resolved that open grazing of cattle be banned across southern Nigeria.
Bagam, this is not skyrocket science. If I have not mentioned open grazing, or rather anti-open grazing in this platform, maybe if YouTube can, spook it out, probably will be up to 5,000 times that it is a must. Because in this day and age, in this day and age, some cow is still jogging on the street. I would say jogging because that's what it is. Destroying stuff in the 21st century, where people, it's actually insane. The cows we have now are done by natural, mating. We do not have facility for mass production of cows by virtue of using scientific method artificial insemination. We do not. Isn't that madness? Because we can actually start crossbreeding certain, they might get these Norwegian muzzle pullers and get some Chicago bulls or maybe some, Efibo. And, when you crossbreed them, you might, these are scientific. Don't quote me on this because but at least I know that you can crossbreed them the way you see with dogs, that dogs can crossbreed and have a different species. So they can actually do the same thing. But in 2021, we argue cow. Somebody says that's why that's why Abuja is a federal capital territory, capital territory, capital territory. It appears funny, but at the same time, it's damn freaking serious. But these guys, eventually, are being awake now. Let's continue.
3. The meeting noted that development and population growth has put pressure on available land and increased the prospect of conflict between migrant herders and local population in the south. Given this scenario, it becomes imperative to enforce the ban on open grazing in the south, including cattle movement to south by foot.
But in fact, if you are able to enforce this one, if you are able to enforce this, I'll owe you one bottle of Ompa, each one of you, all the governors. I owe you one bottle, only one bottle. Or I can give you 2 kegs of palm wine, then you can share among yourself. Unbelievable. Why I keep referring back to the Southern Unity and Southern Front is, you will make, pardon me, I need to come back again with that video, sorry. I don't want to say what I think, but, it does appear whenever I do something, start speaking something.
So 17 governors today met from the southern states under the aegis of Southern Nigeria Governors Forum. They met in Asaba, the Delta State capital. Top on the agenda is the state of the nation, especially the rising insecurity across the country. Take a listen to the chairman of the Southern Governors Forum and part of their resolutions, Governor Akeredolu.
Criminals and bandits in the southern part of the country has presented a severe security challenge such that citizens are not able to live their normal lives, including pursuing various productive activities, leading to a threat to food supply and general security.
Of course, By the time, again, there is this argument that the local headers are not the issue. But there are also an adage amongst my people that says, when all lizards are lying down, we do not know which one with the one that's got tummy ache. So if the issue is that cows are coming in, destroying farmland, and in the process, headers become terror to us, then ban open grazing. No more. You can no longer walk cows from Shakoto to Amoya. You can no longer walk cows from Brenin Kebi to Oshobo. It's as simple as that. No one says you can't sell your cow. No one says you can't engage in cow business. But what the law is saying is, if you want to move cows, move them with trucks. That's what normal human beings with gray matters in between their skulls do. If you want to move cows, do not move them by foot. If you want to move cow from Umahia, or maybe, I don't know, if you want to move cow from Biriningwari or Chibok or wherever to Abo, of course, not by road, because you would destroy farmlands. And what the governors are saying is just basically re-echoing the things we've been saying for a long time. That once these things the moment they keep happening, we are now getting to the point of being endangered that there is going to be food scarcity. That means food security will be in jeopardy.
Consequently, the meeting resolved that open grazing of cattle be banned across southern Nigeria.
Simple.
3, the meeting noted that development and population growth has put pressure on available land and increased the prospect of conflict between migrant herders and local population in the south. Given this scenario, it becomes imperative to enforce the ban on open grazing in the south, including cattle movement to south by foot.
So you heard the Southern, that's a position. The one President Buhari to address, we have a list of those recommendations, some of them the very important ones we have highlighted, and what we'll be discussing tonight is those recommendations. What President Buhari is saying, the focus on the Southeast and the South side. Take a look.
Okay, so the reason why I'm going to pause here is that I want to also, based on this, and to do my own analysis here. What do they want? The Southern governors, today, what they said is as you've seen, Akere Doru, he said they banned open grazing across the southern states. So if you decide that cows must move from Sokoto to Yola, so be it. That's your freaking problem. If you decide that cows must move from Taraba to Zamfara, so be it. That's your own cup of tea. But these people are saying we do not want this because it's posing so much threat to us. The conflict that is cost us, the lives, the destructions, all these things we hear. You hear, okay, people are going into the bush to go after headers. All this conflict that has arisen, there are things that were avoidable. They were avoidable. They want to restrict movement of restrict cattle movement to the south by foot. Again, in this platform, if I haven't mentioned that, it's maybe over 5,000 times that I've said that it's something that doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense that it still happens. And they want President Buhari to address the nation. When I read that one, I said, "Now, wow, the oracle cannot address, oracles don't speak to humans. Okay? So oracles speak through their spokesperson. So I think, you might be asking too much here. Let the oracle, as usual, continue in its usual manner, speaking through the spokespersons. Oracles have mouthpiece, like those of you from my part of from the my neck of wood. They say when masquerade, and sometimes you give masquerade money, and masquerade will just do, and the person that will follow, the interpreter, will say, he says you will live wrong. The other one will say, and he said, masquerade, he said, your granddaughter will be a triplet, blah blah blah. That's, no matter how funny it sounds, it's where we are as of today. That is freaking where we are. That things are no longer done in a way that you think that a nation of, in as much as I doubt if it's up to 200, but for argument's sake, a nation of 200,000, 200 million, and you'll be begging someone. You saw during the EndSARS, he was begged to address the nation. Eventually, he chose to speak through the oracles, and eventually it turned out the way it is. And here, my happiness is that they are beginning to lend their voice. Urgent and bold steps to restructure Nigeria. One thing that is missing to regional autonomies, as it is in the United Kingdom, where you have the Scottish, where you have the Welsh, where you have the Irish. So, and you have the English. Regional autonomy. Everyone, you cope with your current realities. So that is because even when you agitation, there must come to a point where everyone will begin to, cave in to some points. These are some concessions that could be made, and when concessions are made, you move from your high horse. You make move. The other person makes move as well. So that's the way the world works. And they also said there ought to be a need, or rather there is a need for state police. I personally agree on all these planks. As some of you are writing in the comment section saying, it remains to be seen. I agree, it remains to be seen. Because it's not about, just basically starting it or mounting it. But again, let us cut them some slack here, people. For the fact that they have actually started it, for the fact that they have listened to you and I, for the fact that they have, in all our cries, that they began to listen. Let us cut them some slack and let us, here help them. Because we cannot fight just, fight, no resolution. So here, they have brought out the first step. And we're going to watch what type of dance do they want to dance. Do they want to do a krukere dance on us? Do they want to do a shaku shaku? Or is it atilogu? Or they want to do a boys two men on us, Whichever dance that they are dancing, let us, mellow down a little bit, see where they are headed to, and maybe give them a timeline. If we, after a certain time, and see, okay, nothing is actually happening, cows are still overrunning the streets, litter, that's my point on that. So, as they say, let us sell market. So, welcome back. As I was saying before, the internet appeared to have rudely interrupted me, but I think I might go and change my cap. Maybe this internet will respect my red cap more than this one. If you do that again, I'll go change cap for you, then you'll be in trouble. So be warned. Do not kick me.
These issues. So 17 governors today.
So do not do this again before I get angry with you. And go and invite Shakal for you now. You get. Okay.
Character. This is some.
So let me come back again to, sorry about interruption. So to me, moving forward, part of the things they talked about was also the review of revenue formula in favor of federating units, whatever that means. Again, that's neither here nor there. Federal government to convene a national dialogue, review of federal security appointments to reflect federal characters, blah, blah, blah. So, you see, these are things we've been saying. These are things many of you that are aware, we've been saying this over and over and over and over. So glad to see that they are, obviously beginning to pay attention to the cries of the people, those that have elected them in that post. So let's listen to Sean Moore.
Of the recommendations now. So tonight, just like we do here on the program, to give you insight so that you can take action as a citizen. I'm being joined by two gentlemen, one an
we are going to rise and above our challenges, and this is something that I think it is important as well, to give the citizens, because we are practicing people's government, democracy. So the people too, they have their contribution, to having a successful government. So they have to play their role. And for the citizen to play their role, the government must be able to, rise up and, give that hope.
So now that eventually comes, and I summarize this, and I'll end here. This segment, not ending the program, this segment I'll end here to say that the government must aid the citizens in order for the citizens to help them. This is, for me, a step in the right direction. The unity of purpose that is needed, because I know many of us, the southern region, many of us within the various social cultural organizations, we've all come together. We are doing things together. We are moving together, but it appeared that the political elite or the political class didn't, or rather saw the need for that to happen. But now they are beginning to see that. Okay, so I take some of your, comments. Then we'll move to the next segment. The next segment is more or less on the corona. There was this news that the federal government was going to lock down, but obviously the state, PTF, that is the Presidential Task Force on COVID, they've come out to say no, that information is false. So you can take it away from this platform this evening that information that Nigeria was going to lock down for a second wave of COVID is a fluke. Secondly, I saw a video where, here we were, at some point, we were telling people when this issue of corona came, we're telling people that COVID is real and COVID kills, but you can prevent it. And if you're unable to, prevent it and you get it, there are things you can do probably to survive. And as research has shown, it could be vaccinated, against to protect yourself. As we have seen for those of you who are in the United Kingdom, from over 2,000 people dying, plumbing to even 14 people or even less, that shows you that science works. Now, in India, it appears India had a serious issue because they got really, really hammered. India got really, really hammered. But before I get to India, let's listen to what the government, the PTF, is saying regarding this COVID lockdown that they say is fake. However, there are new guidelines that they've issued out. That guidelines should be followed by us all. Listen.
Further to this recommendation, and effective from 0001 hours of Tuesday, 11th May 2021.
Again, this is starting from today. Pay attention, this is starting from today. 000 hour. The moment it is midnight, you know, the time that those flying, we call them flying palele. The time they start flying, they fly witches and wizards that start flying 11 or 12 o'clock. So the moment is that time, they would freeze. Yeah.
Of the first restriction of movement shall come into effect. We shall maintain restrictions on mass gatherings outside work settings with a maximum number of 50 people in any enclosed space. Approved gatherings must be held with physical distancing measures and other non-pharmaceutical interventions in place. Enforcement of mandatory requirement of a 7-day quarantine for all international passengers arriving from foreign destinations, while institutional quarantine for international passengers arriving from the 3 countries we mentioned. Enforce temperature checks and no mask, no entry policy in all public settings, workplace buildings, businesses, places of worship, etc. Access to government and commercial premises should be denied to any person not wearing face mask.
See, face masks
We'll continue to
come
maintain
back of play.
restriction
People,
on
listen.
resumption of work
We must
of
begin
government
to wear face
staff,
masks again,
workers from GL level 12 and
so that
below.
we don't get to the level of India.
We'll also limit government
India
meetings to
is
virtual
being hammered
platforms
as
as
I
much
speak
as
to you.
possible, while maintaining restrictions on physical meetings, including official trips, oversight visits, and board meetings. Event centers, bars, nightclubs shall remain closed until further notice. Restaurants are to provide eat-in at 50% capacity and provide takeaways where available. These measures are to enable the government of Nigeria effectively prevent and control the resurgence of an acute phase of this pandemic, continue to strengthen our public health systems, and protect the lives of Nigerians and our economy.
So now this is Nigeria. Okay.
Indians have thrown
So-
the idols.
I'll give us this. The reason why I'm throwing this in because we must be a people that learn. We can not only come here, make comments, watch, but we must take something away. I said before, Nigerians were doubting about this, but at least United Kingdom has proven that science works. The COVID injection has reduced the cases, and UK is, getting it under control, seriously under control. There is these, I think the PM is going to address them, I think this week. I can't remember which day, either 19th or so. If it's not this week, it was going to be next week. Is it 19th? So if the Prime Minister Boris Johnson addresses them, and there is this likelihood, I was listening to the CEO of EasyJet, making a strong argument by the virtue of the way UK has tackled this pandemic, that they will be ready to start resuming full operation now, the 20% operation. So having said that, people, what it then means that once we begin to take note of what other countries have done, you will begin to understand that we must not fall victim of ignorance. sadly, part of the reason why India got to the point that they got now is as a result of ignorance. That many people, allowed, instead of science to control their brains and their reasoning, allowed religion to take over to a point that they are now realizing it. And now that they are realizing it, they are not feeling happy and they are not feeling proud about, what they've put themselves through. And this is what then happens in India. You cannot believe it.
Indians have thrown the idol.
Thought that the gods that they were praying to help them survive COVID-19 has failed them, and the Indians brought all their gods, put them on the street, use caterpillar, squash their gods, pack it, go and put it in poto, as we say in Nigeria. Listen to this.
A large number of Indians have thrown the idols of the gods they worshipped on the streets as the numbers of coronavirus infections and deaths skyrocket in the country. Indians expressed their anger at the idols that they worshipped and sacrificed themselves.
You see, they were, sorry, people are dying, but it's not funny, but it's funny. So that what I'm saying is that we have to learn also. Because I see I see some semblance of what happened in India in us, that we are a people that a pastor can come on the pulpit, tell people that coronavirus is fake, that 5G causes coronavirus, that this, the other one makes the other one. And you sit back there and you're looking at yourself, jeez, how did we get here? Remember, when the COVID started, Indian didn't take it so serious as we are not taking so serious in Nigeria. So the danger here is if care is not taken, it took so long for India to be in this catastrophic mess. If care is not taken, if you and I does not take the necessary responsibility that we ought to take as humans, as responsible people, we might actually be doing, in no distant time, find ourselves in this type of
the
mess.
idols did not protect them from the coronavirus.
Okay,
they prayed to the idols
let me
because they believe virus infections and deaths skyrocket in the country. Indians expressed their anger at the idols that they worshipped and sacrificed themselves for, but the idols did not protect them from the coronavirus. They prayed to the idols because they believed that it could save them from the virus, but they finally discovered that they could not do anything, and hence they destroyed it. The number of daily coronavirus deaths in India has been reaching a record number of 3,780, as the total number of infections exceeded 20 million. India's underfunded health system has struggled to cope with the recent wave of COVID, with patients dying in hospital parking lots from lack of oxygen and beds.
So you see that now. Clearly said in that video, lack of oxygen based on the fact that they do not have good medical facilities. Yet, Indian is a place of choice for Nigerians to go and receive medical treatment. But think about it. So night vigil cannot save you from coronavirus. Common sense will. Let us not be like Indians that momoishly believe that those gods that they have, now I think they are now decamping from their gods. They are now proper decamping. They just said, gods, guy, do well. We go decamp. Your job is done now. So we thought you're going to save us in this pandemic, but sadly you didn't. So we will let you go. So that's what Indians have done. Use your brain. When your pastor tells you he's going to cure corona or stop corona, use your brain. If anything happens to him, he can use his private jet and fly to countries that would, cure themselves. Ask yourself, the vaccination came, they became the first people to queue up to receive. Yourself, you're ignorantly there saying, they want to kill us. They want to do this to us. They want to do this to us. One person take vaccination, and what didn't happen, killer happened, the other one happened. Listen, I can't deceive you. I have taken my first shot. Please, I beg you. Life is precious. Do not allow another person brainwash you to say you're not going. No one is forcing you, by the way. What I'm against is anyone forcing anybody to take. But common sense must dictate that it works. My family, within my family, close members really, really suffered from it. It's a terrible thing. So I would conclude by saying, let the case of India be a learning point for us to note that yes, to note that this is this is something serious. Please put petrol on your internet. Please, please use the what's it called? Use the super chat section and put petrol, please. This internet must stop disgracing me. I said it before that I'm going to put on a red cap if it happens again. But maybe this Nakwada, I think maybe your point is the best, actually, that we should do something about the internet, honestly. So, but having said that, people, the gods failed India. India is throwing away the gods in anger. We must learn from people's mistakes, but it must not be yours. You cannot live so long to learn from yours alone. And I think it's a mistake they've made. Nations must learn from them. Yes, Henry Barr, I think I need to put on my red cap to really stop this internet from messing me up. Okay, I think I need to do that. But having said, people, having said that, now let's leave India alone. I've told you my mind. Listen, you can argue whether the COVID is real, whether the vaccine works. Your life is your life. If you want to play Ojoro with your life, go ahead. I can only tell you, I love you. You watching me. You, man, woman, boy, girl, all of you. I love you. And I do not take your commitment to this platform for granted. But truth be told, the vaccine works, all of them, and it prevents it. So please, if you can, I have. Okay? So, I mean, if we all are able to do it, then probably, this nonsense can stop quicker. So having said that, there is another video that I will want to share with us. If you, before I talked about the headers, and I think I've shown this video before. Part of the reason why the governor said no herdsman should be moving on foot is this. Now, imagine someone told, I took AstraZeneca. I took AstraZeneca. So one man went to the mall. I don't know whether I'm moon. I've been at your village mall. You they like cost trouble. Eh? Christian Biko from Norway. Thank you very much. So it's been good like 2-3 minutes. What's going on? I don't understand. Honestly, when they gave me the job, I didn't. It sounded funny. I didn't even know when the thing. I was still doing like this. Give the job. And the lady said, "You can go." I said, "Huh? Did you do anything?" To me, honestly, I'll make a confession. on TV. I thought, having watched some videos, you see, sometimes all these fake things that come from WhatsApp sometimes has a way of whapping your brain. So when I looked at, I thought, did they actually do something, or are they trying to play with my head? I was fine. That was around 11:50. Then I got home. I went to bed that day. I think I had a live broadcast, actually. I went to bed around 11. But man, around 1, I woke up to go do a wee. And I started feeling as if, man, this hand, it was really, my hand became heavy. And when you read that, they say it could be feverish, it could have some pain, but it doesn't. If you want to take paracetamol or ibuprofen, you could. But I decided, because I don't like taking medications, that's me. If I have headache, I always see headache as symptom. I want to know why I'm having that headache. And most times, as you know, Nigeria is so hot. If you don't drink enough water in a day, you get headache. And I know that's normally my peculiar issue. Or if I get constant headache, that means it could be something, maybe malaria, maybe, any other thing. So, and that's it. After that night, the pain, it disappeared. So anyone deceiving you in the name of preaching or telling you anything that you don't need it, fine. I mean, it's free. And I do not believe that anyone is actually going to force you. But for me, if we have enough, it's going to be, that's what we're going to, take. Because this is nothing than a flu jab that many of you in Europe, you do. Elderly ones take flu jab around the winter time. So it's yeah, Ndiema says is a muscle pain. Yes, okay. I had muscle pain. I think that's fair. But having said that, people, again, sadly, I might go get I think, please, do you have any God in your house? Who has the Amayo? We probably need to warn this internet very seriously to stop misbehaving. So, on a serious note, I was about showing us a video. One of the reasons I said I support the ban on open grazing, and this is the reason. Now, would this happen if these herders moved their cow on trucks? In the video you're watching, they came to a farm where people have harvested yam, and they went and opened the yam that was covered with leaves, dry leaves. Not only that they opened the yam, they used their machete to cut these yams in sizes for their cows to feed on. Now tell me, is this not inhumane? Because there is no way you can deny this. This is not a question of you don't know, but you know that this is somebody's sweat. And even went to the point of, oh, jeez.
Ya. Koko fu hurte ko. Dole masu ai. Darga Allah masaje non no. Allah masaje oru. Allah masaje oru an.
Now you can imagine this yam, the yam that they are destroying, probably could be one truckload of yam, and someone is just destroying it in this manner. Can you imagine?
Wa ono di nyama kai amma ga Allah. Allah gore wa kino warar ga Allah do aje dirhi.
Yeah, I think even some of the yams were burnt, and they had
Wa hokka mana ga dan jangil man wa ko.
to
Ni di
even,
minato ko ni shewi no ko
even
gerode.
some.
Na hokka na fi dai yanga.
mana ne bide tan ngokki te ठीक है मोटी तक जाई ngokko मांगे नहीं
Ni fa na yang gurta ke dilli.
You see, people, when I tell us that there is nothing like farmers headers clash, that it is headers invasion of farmland, this is a clear indication of what I keep saying. You know, it pains me when I hear farmers headers clash. There is nothing, it does not exist. Farmers and headers don't clash. Headers invade farmland. You cannot clash with somebody in your bedroom unless that person invades your bedroom and prives your personal space. But here, you can see someone, as a result of not banning the open grazing, can stroll into your farm. Not only, you know, if it's locals that, okay, let's say someone goes there, you know, honestly, I would be it would be very, very hard for me if maybe they've gone there, maybe taken 1 or 2 yams and roast them and eat. It could be forgiven that, you know, they were hungry. It could be forgiven. But not when you, geez, you know, looking at that side, this is nothing as someone, you're a car dealer in Lagos, and someone comes into your car dealer shop and uses baseball and breaks everything. And you say you have a clash with somebody in your shop. You sell telephone accessories in Ikeja and you're watching me now. Someone comes in there, takes all your telephone accessory wares, just pushes them on the ground, starts stamping on them, the screen protectors, everything, it destroys them. And wouldn't you be mad when somebody reports it and he says telephone accessory seller in Ikeja clashes with a thief in his office? There's nothing to clash here. We must keep saying the truth. The truth remains that someone invaded your space, someone invaded your farmland, someone that is not authorized to invaded, destroyed, fed your sweat to animals. That's what it is.
ama ba gaskiya ba ya ana na timi doya ja oge billahi
Yeah.
oga irin ni da
Yeah.
ni
Saje ba.
hai amma saje anya ko saje
Saje fam. Gauri wala riba hai tume. Ai do aje.
wai ba godo fullo ni na ne ba wai doya ja no bare nai be mana ne wetan ka
Do aje no bara nai.
wallahi feure
To ai ba ni di da kan go.
doya ja hen nga kala Allah ko fara gara
To foti kada di do aje. To ko ni durungun. Wai ba we.
Anyway, that's it, people. It's one of those things that we keep saying, and sadly, this keeps happening. So again, I can, reading your comment, I just take some comments. I think the internet is playing up that I'm really not enjoying this so much. I'll try and see what can be, what can be done, if we can fix it between today and tomorrow, because I've never had it this bad. But reading your comments, some of you said that I'm not the right person to talk about COVID jab. Of course, I'm not your medical doctor. I'm not your father. Neither am I your mom. But I have the right to, based on science, to advise us on something. It is also your right, because when I watch some Indian programs before the current, full-blown episode that they do have, you will hear some of them also arguing like us. Oh, they want to reduce the Indian population. Oh, they want to kill the Indian. Yet, the irony is, AstraZeneca is being produced in India. And they are shipping it to the world. Yet they are dying. Again, because it's not theirs. They are just, it's a manufacturing plant. They can't just because they are dying and, they just, everybody just takes whatever, even if it doesn't belong to them. Again, what I'm saying is, I'm not telling you to go take it, but I'm telling you that if I have looked at it and I see reason why I should, if you're still arguing that you shouldn't, you don't want, it's up to you. It's a free world, It's a free world. Nobody, I believe, one thing I would ever kick against is anyone trying to force you to take it. No, it is your right to say no. And the final video that I want to share with us is what some criminals are doing in the name of the military. They now dress in army uniform, and the following then happens. So, I think some of us are making some valid points here. While I'm trying to still see if I can get the video to play, some of us are making some valid points here. Onyenimo says the vaccine will scatter your internet connection. Some of you are cracking me up. But Ifeanyi Joshua is making a very, very valid point. He says, how come we take yellow fever, measles, chickenpox, etc., but we are arguing with the vaccine? I think you make indeed a very, very valid point. But I will conclude with this video so that this is for information purposes, so that we understand what is happening. Please watch. I hope the internet allows me. So you watch how the things have been transported.
Investigative and operational breakthroughs by police operatives from the Force Intelligence Bureau, particularly the STS and the IRT. The first case we are presenting to you is a case of some Nigerians who are indirectly fueling some of the crises we are having in this country through some of their business activities, providing accoutrements for bandits, for kidnappers, for terrorists, for armed robbers, and for other criminals involved in very violent crimes across the country. Acting on very credible intelligence, operatives from the STS stormed some of the warehouses and business premises of these persons before you. And when a thorough search was conducted, lots of camouflage. These are clothes that are designed and made to look like the official apparel or official uniform of members of the Nigerian Armed Forces. But of course, if you go through the label, you know straight away that these are not from the stores of the Nigerian Army. But of course, they are replicas, and they are designed to create that pseudo impression out there that the persons adorning these clothes are actually members of our armed forces. A total of 583 pieces of these uniforms, of these clothing, were recovered, and you can see heaps of them here. These are uniforms that are not meant to be seen or worn by anybody. They are symbols of our armed forces. They are symbols of our national defense. They are symbols of our national security. They are symbols of our national strength.
So, people, you've seen it. On this one, I wouldn't make much comment. I mean, this is self-explanatory. We should be very, very careful out there. The world is turning into something that it could,